Black people do not understand psychological warfare. That's what we're going to talk about today. You feel me? What's going on out there? The first thing I want y'all to do right now, if you're watching this video and you understand what I said, and you understand that to be the truth, which is black people do not understand psychological warfare. Very first thing I want you to do, if you're feeling what I'm saying, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, and subscribe to this channel, all right? Because it's real talk. And this is Mr. Real Talk. And real talk, so-called black people do not understand psychological warfare. You know, that's a very deep topic, you know? And I'm definitely not going I'm not going to make this video too long, you know what I'm saying? Because here's another real fact coming from Mr. Real Talk. All of y'all know it's just real. Most of you so-called Negroes out there, your attention span is that of a child. You can't concentrate for more than 5 to 7 minutes on anything that's meaningful, that is. Now, if I had some whores in this video twerking, or I was talking about you know, being a trap star of the year, you know, your attention span would then, it would be extended. You know, you can sit here for hours on end, you know. You can sit here for hours on end, maybe 24 hours straight without sleep. As long as you got something to eat, something to drink, you'll sit here and watch me talk about some type of buffoonery, if you will. But what I'm here to talk about right now, and what I want y'all to understand and think about, see, some of us know this. Some of us are in the know, but most of us are not. So-called black people do not understand psychological warfare, okay? And a lot of us are in denial. We are in denial, and I would say that I don't know why we're in denial, but that's a lie. The reason why we are in denial is because we have been abused and still are being abused, and instead of admitting, because it's not that we don't see it and we don't feel it, but it's instead of admitting that we are being abused and saying, hold up, something ain't right here. We are being totally abused, but we're not going to speak on it. We're being totally abused, but we're not going to acknowledge that. We're being totally excluded, but we're not going to acknowledge that. And you know why? Because we have been put into a submissive state. Your mind has been put to sleep for the so-called Negro man and the so-called Negro woman, who we like to refer to as black people, which is a bunch of BS, a bunch of crap. Because look, you so-called Negroes out there, and check this out. Shout out to all y'all so-called Negroes out there and y'all so-called black people. And also shout out to all my subscribers who are not so-called Negroes and who are not so-called black people. Because y'all out there too. What up? This is what needs to be understood. Until you become aware that, first of all, that you are even being engaged and warred upon, until you even acknowledge that and become aware of that, it's no way that you can begin to resist and stand up for yourself and get your mind right, because you're totally unaware that anything has gone wrong. Because you have been totally and extensively mentally conditioned, known as brainwashing, to accept every foul atrocity that comes over you and yours. Okay? That's psychological warfare. You do know that brainwashing is psychological warfare. And you know what a very big part of psychological warfare is? Not physical, it's mental. It's your mind. It's somebody warring against your mind. They don't have to lay a hand on your body. They don't have to touch you physically. But if I can wreak havoc and mentally destroy you, I got you. Your body belongs to me. If I can destroy your mind, capture your mind, your body belongs to me. And you're going to do what I want you to do because I own your mind. Because I've conquered your mind. Okay? This is something that a lot of so-called Negroes out there, a lot of so-called black people, or niggas, as you more affectionately known, you know what I'm saying? A lot of you refuse to acknowledge the state of your people. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? I'll tell you what's wrong with you. You've been brainwashed. Thoroughly. Okay? I mean, this thing, you know what? And I know a lot of times y'all hear me, I will reference slavery in a lot of my videos. And you know why? Because I see a lot of slave mentality behavior occurring every single day. Every single day. And this major, and I do mean major, inferiority complex going on with you so-called Negroes. And it's beyond bad. It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Sometimes I gotta cry to keep from laughing. Or should I say, I gotta laugh to keep from crying. You see how deep it is? It's got me tangling my words all up, misconstruing my words and whatnot. But I got it straight with y'all. I clarified that, so you dig? But this is real. Not all. Because, see, this is the thing. You cannot fault black people for having low self-esteem. Black people have extremely low self-esteem. And here's why you can't fault them for initially having it. It's our job to understand better and to do better now. But you have been bred and brainwashed to have low self-esteem. You've been brainwashed and bred to believe that you are the scum of the earth, that if you are a black man, that you are the thug and the criminal of the earth. If you're a black woman, that you are the slut and you are the whore of the earth. Those are all the things that have been placed into you. And you know what? We've bought into it. And I'll just make one quick statement to this little shenanigan here. Not really a shenanigan, but it's not a shenanigan to black people, but to the people who are propagating this and making sure that this show was able to hit the airwaves. They knew exactly what they were doing, is perpetuating the insanity. Love and hip hop. Oh my goodness. It's sad, but a lot of these so-called black women out here, you already mentally destroyed, okay? Because you don't even know. And this goes along with the so-called black men too. All of us have been totally destroyed through slavery, okay? And you never got your mind right since getting them chains off you. You never got your mind right. So you're still in mental slavery. Actually, you in worse condition now than then. I know a lot of y'all can't believe that, but it's true. We in worse condition now than we were then. At least then we had somewhat togetherness. We had somewhat cohesiveness. Now it's every Negro for themselves. Every nigga for themselves. It's crazy out here. And the self-esteem is so low, it makes me want to Earl. Matter of fact, give me a bath bag, please. I need the Earl. That's I don't know if y'all can hear that, the police sirens going off in the background. Who knows what that's about? Who knows what it's about? It's 2017. Who knows what that's about? But this low self-esteem stuff, it gotta stop. When you see another so-called black person out there and you say, ugh, look at his skin, he's dark skinned. I don't like dark skinned people. Or, ooh, look at her hair. Her hair is beady. It's nappy. You know what? That's the kind of hair that God made you with. Okay? That's the kind of hair that God made you with. Who made you with that hair? God made you with that hair. Now check this out. Some of y'all might say, well, who is God? There's all types of gods out there. And I'm telling you, whoever got so-called nigger hair or so-called negroid hair, so-called, you know what hair I'm talking about, woolly hair. Stop being ashamed of that, because your God gave you that type of hair. And you know what another sad thing is? But you know what? Like I said, you cannot blame a so-called black person, a so-called Negro, for having low self-esteem, because that was bred into him. He's been stripped of his mental capacities in this place. He's been made lower than a slug. He's been made to ignore who he is and to pretend to be something that he's not. He's been bred to hate his hair that his God gave him. And you know what? And this is something, check this out. Every so-called Negro, every so-called black person or so-called nigger need to understand. Your God is not the same as everybody else's God, okay? You need to understand that. A lot of you so-called black people, you have no idea who your God is. You know that? You took on other people's gods. And you know who one of the main gods that so-called black people, you so-called Negroes out there, you know who one of the main gods is y'all took on? I want somebody to answer for me. But before you do, if y'all know what I'm talking about and you feeling this real talk that need to be had, it should be being had with you by your low-life pastor. But he's a slut and a whore, so he ain't gonna tell you. Hit this like button, hit this share button, and you better subscribe to this channel, because this is Mr. Real Talk, and this is Real Talk. I'm gonna give you what you want and what you need. I'm not gonna give you what you want all the time, because it's sad to say, a lot of so-called black people, they don't want what they need. They want what they want. And what they want, sad, they want to be lied to. But once again, that's because slavery. We still suffering the agonizing pain and attributes of being a slave. It's gotten worse. Tell me. But like I said, a lot of y'all so-called black people, you know who your God is that you take on, for the most part? It's white Jesus. Yeah, I said it. White Jesus. First, and you know what's so bad about that? Do you know what's so bad about that? You Negroes will try to say color don't matter. Color don't matter. But I thought you believed in God, though. I thought you believed in the Bible, where color is all in the Bible. But your filthy, stinking, lying, pimping whore of a pastor won't tell you that. You know why? Because he is whoring himself out, and he's whoring you out too. He's working for the slave master, for the oppressor. Oh yes. And don't give me that garbage, color don't matter. Color is all in the Bible. And what's so sad, most of you so-called black people worship so-called white Jesus, and you are Christians who claim you believe the Bible. Color's all in the Bible. But when you got to worship a white Jesus who don't exist, you got to ignore everything in the Bible that brings up color and the word black, and it's all in there. Low self-esteem, having sales. But like I said, I don't blame so-called black people. I blame the leaders. I blame them so-called stinking, sellout black politicians and them pastors for the most part. For the most part, 90% of the pastors in the black community are scum. For the most part. There's only 10% out there that's actually trying to do what's right. And you can tell your pastor I said he's a whore. All the lies they tell you from your slave master, taking money from people that they don't even deserve, and it's unlawful according to the book they say they believe, which they don't, because they ain't got no right to no ties. You don't know nothing about no ties. You know what your slave master told you. Filthy, stinking liars. And I love you so-called Negroes out there. That's why I'm passionate about this. Don't look. Let me tell you, don't you mistake my passion for anger. I love y'all Negroes. That's why I'm out here. For my love for y'all. And I'm trying to get you to stop being a mental whore and a slut. Because that's what your preacher wants you to do. Whether you knew that or not, your pastor, your preacher, he wants you to be a slut for your oppressor. Now check this out. I thought you believed in God. I thought you believed in Jesus. I thought you believed in the Bible. The Bible says, envy not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Now I'm going to ask y'all, you so-called Negroes out there, have you envied your oppressor? Have you chosen any of his ways? And I tell you the answer to that, you already know. Of course you have. Why? You've been put in slavery. And when they took the chains off, ain't no need to keep you in physical chains no more, because we've indoctrinated your mind now. We got your mind. Which leads to low self-esteem. Once again, this guy, white Jesus, does not exist. He's no realer than Mickey Mouse, than Peter Pan, than Transformers. He does not exist. But you hold him dear to your heart. Because, like I said in the beginning, we do not understand psychological warfare. Images and imagery are at the root of psychological warfare. They say much more than words could ever say. And we've been buying into this make-believe God, make-believe Jesus, white Jesus. He does not exist. He ain't done nothing for you except put you to death, get you in slavery, and fill your head with lies. Oh my goodness. You know what? If I was to go on and on, see, you know why? A lot of y'all so-called Negroes out there will keep saying again, the color don't matter. You know what? Shut your whorish behind up. Because when everybody thought Jesus was white, it wasn't a problem. But now that people actually understand and actually read for themselves and see, no, he was black. Oh, now all of a sudden, color don't matter. But when you saw a white Jesus every Sunday in church and on TV, it didn't matter. You bowed down to it willfully. But now when you find out that's a bold-faced, stinking lie, and that he was black, oh, now all of a sudden color don't matter. Shut your whorish behind up. That's the same attitude that allowed black people to go into slavery. Color don't matter, huh? Such a whore. But like I said, I can't blame so-called black people. You've been put into slavery, your mind been put to sleep. How can a slave and a slave master worship the same God, hold the same ideology and the same ideas? I tell you how. One has to force it on the other, and that's what they did. When will black, you know what, I know what it is. I think a lot of black people are ashamed to admit that they were powerless to stop this guy, the so-called white man, from forcing Christianity down their throats. And even though they know it's a lie, they still have to submit to it because they are afraid to go against it. When are black people going to acknowledge that Christianity was beat and forced into them? When are they going to acknowledge that? That it requires you to do things that God never said you had to do. He never said, and you know what? Matter of fact, I ain't even going into this because I'm not here to preach to y'all, but I had to go here. Of course, if you're talking about black people and being mentally destroyed, you got to go to religion because that's what your slave master used to oppress you. He took your book, which is the Holy Bible, by the way, And I'll go into that another time. It's not a book for everybody. I'll go into that another time. You've been taught that it was, and guess who taught that to you? The same people who used to hang you after Sunday service. They would pray to white Jesus, and then they would say, hey, we hanging one of these Negroes out back. Anybody want to buy tickets? They would sell tickets to Negroes being hung after church. And you tell me I need to join Christianity? You are a whore. But like I said, I can't blame so-called black people for that. That was beat into you. And you've been scared to death to let it go, even though you know it's wrong. A lot of us are deceived, but there are numerous black people out there, or so-called black people, who know that Christianity is a lie, who know that it's wrong. But like I said, black people do not understand psychological warfare. Here's another way that psychological warfare is being waged on you. This is real talk. I remember when I was a little kid, right? When I was a little kid, I used to watch TV, used to watch cartoons, used to watch movies, daily sitcoms, weekly sitcoms, and this is not a lie. This is not a joke. I remember being a little kid and the thought popped into my head. I said, how come there's no black people on TV? Because everybody that I saw was white. I was like, why aren't black people on TV? And it didn't register until I got older why black people wasn't on TV. Because they don't want to see your black face. I don't care who don't like that. You need to deal with the truth. Telling me. And I usually don't get this caught up and this emotionally stirred. But today, a Negro is feeling stirred out here. You know why? Because y'all are my people out there. You know what? A real humanitarian, okay? A real humanitarian cares about humanity. And anybody who can sit back and not care about what's going on to so-called black people, so-called Negroes, you don't have an ounce of humanity in your body. And I don't care who agrees with this or who doesn't. The so-called Negro has been made to do all types of self-degrading things that no other people have been asked or forced to do, like celebrate the holiday of its oppressor, worship a fake, phony God in the image of his oppressor, choose all of his oppressor's ideology, name himself after the oppressor. I mean, I could go on and on and on. You are constantly taught to ignore who you are. And then you have a false image of who you are. This is the image going globally, all right? If you're a so-called black man, if anybody wants to know something about the so-called black man, what they want you to do is go watch World Star Hip Hop and see the insanity of these crazed Negroes out here running around. And they'll point to that and say, see, that's what so-called black people are about. Every black man. That's what they'll say. And then they'll say, for the black woman, go watch Love and Hip Hop. That's what the black women are about. They depict us in the most minuscule and degrading way possible. And you know what's sad? We embrace that. Not only do we allow it, we embrace it and we perpetuate that by being that. You know how many women I've seen out here actually want to go and ruin themselves because of Love and Hip Hop? They see those women on there and think that those women should be looked up to. They think that those women should, they think that they should desire to be like those women on Love and Hip Hop. And the so-called black man, so-called Negro, he sees guys on videos, rap videos, on World Star Hip Hop, and he thinks that he should grow up and idolize and want to be like these guys. That's brainwashing, okay? All it does is help people exterminate you, help people put you in prison, help people put you to death, okay? And that's the thing that so-called black people don't understand. The reason why you need to understand psychological warfare is because it leads to your death. Okay? Whether you're doing life in prison, 20, 25 years in prison, or whether you're 6 feet deep, it doesn't matter. You're still dead. Okay? That's what you need to understand. That's why you need to understand psychological warfare. It's very important, very necessary. It's a wonderful day. Feels great. I hope y'all was able to take that in what I was kicking for y'all. Hey, check this out. Hit the like button right now. Hit the share button right now. Hit the subscribe button. So when I'm dropping this, you can get it as soon as I drop it. Hey, get this word out. We need to cut out all this self-hating, low self-esteem because it's ridiculous. Makes me want to Earl, pass the boff bag. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.